Sit down.
Yep.
Short. Turn. Minute.
Judge me on my questions. You need, I have balls of steel.
Hi!
Yeah, well,
This whole trip was sort of a let's hope for the best and not plan for the worst, you know? Because we really could have got screwed.
I know we all said that we wouldn't right on back, but I would love to do it again. I think you would do it again too. Even though you're shaking your head no, I think you would.
What are you doing?
All right.
What if I get lost in your eyes? Okay. We have the same shoes.
So this weekend we wanted to do an epic adventure and ride from Longmont, Colorado, which is right outside of Boulder, to Winter Park on gravel bikes and try to stay on trails the entire way and cross over the Continental Divide, which is 12,000 feet. Well,
And then?
no, there is no and then we failed.
We knew it was going to be a long ride. We didn't really know much, but being that it was Matt Miller who put this ride on, I knew there was going to be a lot of curveballs thrown at us, and it was not going to be as easy as we thought it was going to be, and it definitely was not.
The person who planned this trip planned it perfectly. It was awesome.
So from Longmont to Ward was surprisingly harder than I felt like it would have been. I didn't feel great. Felt okay. I was discouraged that I was quickly in my easiest gears on that bike, knowing that we had 8,000 feet of climbing ahead of us.
3 hours in, and we're gonna walk into the mercantile store of Ward. We are 9,000 feet up. We still got a long way to go. There's Kenny, videographer. Way to go, Kenny.
Keeping up. Keeping up.
Slowly.
Brutal. It's the part where I don't know if I want Kenny here.
It's kind of like you want to, but you kind of don't.
Well, I'm cold, so I'm cutting glass, and I need to lose this. I'm having a hard time lugging this thing up the hill.
Your baby.
Base baby. We made the, I guess the first stretch. We, what are we, 24 miles in? Top of Ward, what were we at, like
9,200 feet?
9,200 feet up the Ward store, the real famous store. Everybody comes up and ride, and now we got about a half mile up, and we're going to start over to Nettling. Nice, kind of open, fast, up and down hill. Courtney keeps dropping us. It's really annoying. Yeah, so we'll see if we can keep up with her on this section.
Yes. Absolutely. That was probably my most favorite part of the ride. It was breathtaking views. We really got to see a lot of the cool scenery. We got to, on rolling hills, get some speed. I was able to get up to 40 miles per hour and just kind of play around on the gravel bike. So that was definitely my favorite part of the day.
We went to Netherland, we had lunch. I ate a huge bacon cheeseburger, french fries, and 3 fat tires. I was just doing whatever I could to get carbs in me and sugar. And then all of a sudden, I felt like Superman for the rest of the day, and I don't know what happened, but yeah, I felt great. So it's gonna be my new racing strategy of an Ironman. Halfway through, I'm just gonna drink 3 beers and eat a hamburger.
I had a chicken sandwich and 3 beers, thanks to Matt. And, you know, we all were feeling good. I think we all ate a little too much and felt it right as we started a climb that I was correct about the distance and Matt was wrong about the distance. So, you know, that was a good thing because I always prove Matt wrong.
Had a not quick lunch at Ned's here. Wonderful Philly cheesesteak, some fries. I did not have beers. Matt and LJ had beers, so we'll see if that gets us on the pass. It's been a good day, and there's no clouds ahead of us, so that's perfect.
So, we're at 5,000 feet of climbing so far today. 5,000 left to go, and we're about 42 miles in. We got about 20 miles left, right?
Yeah.
20 miles, 25 miles left. We have actually no clue because we didn't bring a map. We have no clue where we're going. We're just going to turn right and go west. And wherever it takes us, we hope we pop out at Winter Park.
This is the most epic ride ever. We don't know where Matt is. We don't know where Kenny is. They went into one of the oldest towns in Colorado.
No mask required.
Rollins, no mask required. And we have not seen them since. We don't know where they are, but we just hear banjos in the distance. It's pretty scary. Send help.
So I thought this big, beautiful valley, and it's looking back now, it is the biggest false flat I've ever seen in my life. Because when I look back on my data, the climb we made from Rollinsville to the very top was a very linear elevation gain. But the first 8 miles, visually it looked super flat. And yet I'm, again, back in my almost easiest gear going, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the easy part. And it really wasn't. We had a headwind. It was discouraging in some ways. I was like, I can't wait to get to the climb, even though I was climbing. And we made the big turn, and it was like going from the opposite of Wizard of Oz. We went from the color and the awesome to the black and white and the hard, because it was just a major contrast. The road was much rockier and visually steeper. And finally, 3 miles in maybe, I just started walking here and there, and I'm like, this is just as easy to walk. And my butt was killing me. I thought, why am I expending all this energy to try to bounce over these rocks? I'm just gonna walk most of this, and I resigned myself to quite a bit of walking.
Yeah, so you make the turn, and it definitely gets a little more rocky and rutted. There's a lot of big puddles you got to go through because all the snow run off, and I thought it was going to take us a lot longer to get up, because when I drove it, you can only go so fast. It was like 5 miles per hour in the truck, but we all got going, and you know, we navigated the rocks, and the bikes did phenomenal, navigated the rocks and the puddles, and actually had some fun. Stopped for pictures, and made really good time up the pass until we basically started hitting above tree line, and then it got a little interesting. Push it, man.
And then we got to the point of the lake where we started to see the snow, and that's kind of where everything changed for me. Felt frustrated because I wasn't comfortable riding my bike at that point. The boulders were too big. The slopes with the snow, you know, only allowed for me to push my bike and kind of make it up to that summit. Carrying the gravel bike is a little bit heavier than carrying my carbon tri-bike, so it was just, you know, total exhaustion from holding onto the bars all day and then having to kind of manipulate the bike. So taking every step, one step at a time.
I knew we'd make it. I was more nervous about when we would make it. I was getting a little nervous with the sun as it was getting lower and lower.
And then as we got to the tunnel, that wasn't just a path to get over the tunnel. That was a pure goat path, and had to get all the bikes, including your 50-pound electric bike, over, and it was great because we got to the top and you could see everything. Oh, anytime. We got to the top and we could see everything, but it wasn't over, and it turned out we had 4 or 5 more miles of goat path, basically, before we even got to the fire road to get down, and it started getting cold, and people started getting a little irritated, Courtney, and we just kept pushing. We did some walking, we did some stops, but everybody kind of just kept pushing and kept going, and we made it through.
Woo! Nothing like putting your winter jackets on in the middle of summer.
What do you got to say about top?
Huh?
What do you got to say about top?
Top was awesome, but man, was it cold. A lot of snow, a lot of hike-a-bike, and now we're freezing. What do you think it is? Probably 35 degrees?
Yeah,
30,
it's
yeah.
about
It's cold.
at 36.
So we got about 8 miles of downhill to go.
Everybody ran out
we
of
go.
water, actually, except for me, because I bought some and carried it. So we started drinking. We started drinking it out of the river. Yeah, and then like I said, the downhill was actually, for me, the downhill was the toughest part because it was so rutted out and rocky, and your shoulders hurt and you were tired. And then the sun went down and it was pitch black and we couldn't see 5 feet in front of our face and we're bombing down a mountain. Yeah, it was awesome. I would not go do it again though.
Heading into Winter Park, and it was fun because our guy who we're staying with, he took off. We had no idea where he was. Courtney doesn't see very well in the dark, so I was giving her basically directions, but she wasn't giving directions behind her. And Matt almost hit a gigantic road sign, barely missed it at the very end, which was, at that point, good comical for all of us. And we just kind of cruised all the way into Bill's place, and all of us jumped in there and just were ready just to take all the shoes and everything off and just get changed and relax.
Yes, I do not see well to begin with in light or dark. I have like a -10 prescription, so trying to go through the dark was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Just tried to stay close to the group and listen to certain cues.
I didn't know if you guys were right behind me or how. I mean, I couldn't see. I didn't.
You took off. They didn't know where you were.
I know. I thought, and I was trying to go reasonably slow, but apparently I didn't. So, yeah, that could have ruined the entire ride. Those little 2 miles.
Yes.
We were like commandos on a raid or something.
You know, I don't know if I would recommend this for just anybody. You have to be, especially on a gravel bike, you have to be a pretty decent bike handler. I mean, the rocks up there were pretty brutal. And you have to be in pretty good shape, obviously, to do it, and you got to have the mental state. So if you're a strong rider and you've done long rides before, I think you could do it, but it's definitely not an easy ride.
You know, I've done Ironmans. I've done some other epic rides. I won't say that that's the hardest thing I've done, but it's up in the top 5 for sure. I think hard is hard to define. What makes something hard and what makes something epic, and I think they do work together. I think you can't have epic without having hard. And this ride had it all. Had some tough road riding, had some tough gravel riding, tough mountain biking essentially. But I think the hardest part and the most epic part and the part that I think will serve me well is the mental toughness, the ability to see the ride without knowing it, and to trust that it's going to be okay, and to trust that my ability will get me over the top when I didn't even know where the top was.
I would recommend it to friends. I think Colorado is beautiful. Seeing the nature and being out there firsthand is one of the most rewarding experiences.
You know, closing thought, I think, honestly, if somebody was to ask me on a difficulty level of 1 to 10, how hard is it? I would say it was probably a 12, just because of it was 80 miles. If we were to do it again, I probably wouldn't start down in Boulder or Longmont. I'd start up on the peak and try to get done before dark. But if somebody wanted to do it again, I would wait till August when the snow melted, because traversing the snowfields was a little rough because they were so steep. Hopefully you'll see it in the video. But I would do it again. And next for us is we're going to go take a bunch of our team members and climb Mount Evans, which is 14,000 feet, ride our bikes to the top of that. So that'll be exciting.
Announce your pregnancy.
Yeah. Were you worried about me?
No. I mean, okay, maybe at like 8:30 I started to wonder, but worry is the wrong word.
What word? We left at 7 a.m. and as of 8:30 at night.
I just kept thinking, this is so typical. This is so typical Matt, and I've been on these never-ending adventures, and nope, no FOMO. And I thought, this is what they all get for listening to Matt.
You don't want to do it?
No, not with you.
Are you pregnant?
I mean, I think I had some watermelon. Come in here, Finn.
Come here, Finn.
Come on. Were you worried about Dad? We just shook our heads all day.
Hey, come here.
Those poor assholes.
Hey.
You're getting interviewed.
Come here, you're going to be on TV.
With your pizza.
Were you worried? Or did you not care?
He didn't care.
He didn't care. He just played the whole time and eating pizza? Yeah, he didn't care. Hi. Hi.
They gave